Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Thomas. Today we're back here with Film Theory, and if you're wondering, got some more equipment to hopefully improve some stuff. I don't know. I've just been looking for some new stuff to try out. You know, got a Logitech microphone, got a camera, 1080p this time. Not going overboard. Figure why not. Anywho, let's check out Film Theory. I'm actually doing the Gravity Falls stuff now, so yeah, about time, I know. But anyway, this one's called Help Me Solve the Impossible. Case sounds like our boy Lee's stuck, so might as well just see what's going on. Be sure to like, subscribe for more. Hope you enjoy. Here we go.
The Book of Bill holds one more puzzle within it that no one has solved. The secret to the future of the Gravity Falls franchise might be right in front of us, and today, loyal theorists, I need your help to solve the hardest puzzle in the Book of Bill. Hello, internets. Welcome to Film Theory, the show that's trapped in the Theraprism. Please send help. By this point, I think Gravity Falls and the Book of Bill need no introduction. This Disney franchise is a certified theorist favorite, and the incredible ARG that's popped up around the Book of Bill has absolutely reinvigorated this franchise unlike anything I've ever seen before. And it's easy to see why. The amount of love, thought, and dedication that series creator Alex Hirsch has put into the Book of Bill and thisisnotawebsite.com is second to none. And so many awesome theorists in the Gravity Falls subreddit and Discord have absolutely devoured these puzzles. Please go join in those communities if you want in on that fun. Because believe me,
I can imagine
passion has been enough that I firmly believe that Disney has taken notice and we will be getting more of this series down the road. But with all of that being said, despite all of the collective work put into ripping these mysteries apart, we as a community haven't found everything in the book. See, at a recent panel that Alex Hirsch attended at Emotion London 2024, he took to the stage to let us know that we haven't found everything yet.
Now, I'll say most of the secrets of the book, since it's come out thanks to Reddit, have been discovered.
Most keyword.
I'm not going to tell you where the undiscovered secret is.
Oh, is that a challenge? You know we have to rise to this occasion and take our crack.
Bring it on!
And while no one has found that secret yet, I think I have a hunch about what this puzzle is and what exactly it means for the future of this series. And if I'm right, this puzzle's going to show us a dimension where Bill Cipher has no power, which might be the key to defeating him once and for all. But by the end of this theory today, I'm not afraid to admit that I might need your help to solve this completely. This is the hardest puzzle in the Book of Bill after all. So please, grab your code breakers and journals, loyal theorists. We have to take a crack at solving this final puzzle. Okay, where do we even start with this? There's so much packed into the Book of Bill and thisisnotawebsite.com that it seems daunting. But thankfully, I do believe we have a lead. See, at this same panel where he said the puzzle hasn't been found, Alex jokingly scrolled through the Book of Bill while searching for a hint, and he landed on a random page. The start of the missing pages of Journal 3 revealed in the Book of Bill. So I don't know if I need to tell you this, but nothing is random, loyal theorists. This has to be
this is Bill we're talking about,
where this thread leads. See, in the corner of this page, you'll notice some art of an axolotl that doesn't actually appear in the Book of Bill, but you can still find this page on the website. Yeah, in the Journal 3 section of the Book of Bill, you'll find a page with a snake on it, and hidden on the snake is one of Bill's ciphers. Translated, it reads Ouroboros. An Ouroboros is a symbol of a snake eating its own tail, symbolizing an unending cycle. It was common in Egyptian, Greek, and Norse myth, and has been used symbolically in everything from the X-Files to Full Metal Alchemist to Ninjago. Regardless, if you enter this code into McGucket's computer, it reveals these missing pages with the axolotl art. Man, this is such a cool puzzle and even fits with the hint hidden here, right? Like an Ouroboros represents an unending cycle, and to get this clue, you need to go back and forth between the website and the book in an infinite cycle. It just makes sense. Regardless, this page tells us about a gift that McGucket once got Ford, a pet axolotl, which he got for Ford because he thought the frills reminded him of Ford's sideburns. Ford even names him Frillium because that's the cutest thing ever, and I think I'm gonna die. Ford was initially delighted by the pet, but at the time, he was also working with Bill, and Bill did not like the little creature. In fact, he seemed entirely revulsed by it, and told Ford that he shouldn't have any distractions while they worked on their portal together. And so, Ford released the axolotl axolotl into a creek behind his lab, and though it looked back at him with a bittersweet sympathy, it left. Of course, if you know anything about Gravity Falls lore, all of this will make sense to you. A strange quirk of axolotl biology means that they can regrow their limbs if they're ever lost, something that Ford finds appealing. As he says, to be wounded, but leave no scars. Because of this ability, and along with being entirely adorable and lovable little creatures, axolotls represented rebirth in Aztec mythology. But within the series, the axolotl represents far more than just rebirth. The highest deity within the Gravity Falls universe also takes the form of an axolotl and acts as a direct rival for Bill Cipher. If Bill is a being all about destruction and chaos in a quest for immortality, the great axolotl is the opposite of that. It's a being of healing and rebirth. Now, all of this is a beautiful...
Okay, but is it just me? I mean, I haven't seen Gravity Falls in a while, but how much you would have bet that axolotl was actually the god itself, you know, the one we saw above, that was the rival of Bill, and he saw him and was like, get rid of it. But, yeah, you can see how that went on. You know, I'm just saying, you can definitely see it. Anyway.
Little story, and a good representation of these two cosmic forces sort of pulling on Ford and the rest of the Pines family in a galactic game of tug of war. But there's something else here on these pages, and this is why I think this was the hint from Alex. See, on the second page of this journal entry, there's a little doodle of a, quote, new star system down at the very bottom of the page. Now, this stuck out to me a lot because the study of stars and other star systems just fascinates me, and at first I wondered if this was something very familiar. See, while it's not perfect, it reminded me of the Alpha Centauri star system, which is actually the closest star system to our solar system. But it doesn't really line up super well when you actually examine it under a microscope. Plus, it says new star system, and we've known about Alpha Centauri for centuries. But despite that, I do wonder if there's some information we can sort of glean out of this. See, in physics and astronomy, there's a principle known as the three-body problem. Yeah, that isn't just a solid book series and Netflix show, it's an actual real scientific concept. So what is it then? Well, when you have two bodies floating out in space affecting one another, like two big stars or planets, it's very easy to use math and science to predict the speeds and locations of those objects far into the future. However, if you add a third body in there, like a third big star or planet, all of a sudden it becomes very hard to make any of the same predictions, to the point where this three-body problem becomes more or less unsolvable. I'm hoping that that isn't a sign of things to come here for this puzzle, and that it is indeed solvable for us, but that doesn't bode very well.
Probably
but
not.
Hey, here's the thing. This little doodle was done in blue ink, which is the pin color that's been associated with McGucket throughout all of the This Is Not a Website entries. Plus, on top of that, this isn't the only time we've seen a little solar system doodle like this. Yeah, there's another one in one of the best hidden codes that the Book of Bill has to offer. A little while back, Reddit user Kirkathy was one of the first to notice this little teeny tiny code deep within the fold of 2 pages of the book. You basically have to crack your book in half to even see it, but when you translate it, it reads, "Destruction is a form of creation." That seems very much like something Bill would believe, wouldn't it? Well, typing this into the website gives us another clue, and I believe this is the end game for this whole mystery. Yeah, as you can see, this thing is wild. It's a note page from McGucket's personal notebook that is just scribbled from left to right, top to bottom, with text and equations and doodles and codes. And if you look down at the sticky note at the bottom of the page, you'll notice a similar looking solar system drawn in the same color. Yeah, it's not quite the same, but enough that I feel like these have to be connected. Oh, and before you suggest that this is an atom, there's actually an atomic drawing elsewhere on the page that is a different style.
Yeah, that's
so this leans much more in the design of a solar system than an atom. Regardless, because of that connection, is there something else on this page that could lead us to some answers? Well, the most obvious thing here is this giant drawing cutting through the middle of the page, which has McGucket concluding that there is a giant hole in space-time, and this might be the key to stopping Bill. But here's where the difficulty of the puzzle comes into play.
That's gonna be tricky. We gotta get him in there
us
first.
At Theorist HQ included have been able to quite figure out what this page is pointing to yet, and believe me, that is not for a lack of trying. For example, a few of the talented theorists over at the Gravity Falls Reddit and Discord have taken to overlaying parts of the Book of Bill or those unlockable wallpapers we discussed in our last theory onto this note page. And honestly, while that sounds absolutely bonkers on paper, badum-tish, certain things do line up super well. Maybe well enough to not be a coincidence. Like, one of the wallpapers is a Bill Cipher themed found Ouija board. And if you line up the yes and no on the board with the yes and no and the infinity symbol on this note page, well, one guess of what lines up with the big hole in space if you do this. Yeah,
Cipher.
that's the symbol of Bill on the Ouija board. That's really compelling, and only one of the things they found that lined up really well. Maybe there is something more going on to this here. But while that is super fascinating and might lead
Seems like a
somewhere, that's
stretch,
not
though.
what I want to talk about with this page. No, instead what I want to focus on is something a bit more surface level here. See, one of the big pieces of text on this page reads, "I cannot see him, he is blind." At first, that might seem like a little bit of a confusing phrase, but
does
in
sound
the
like
book
a
of Bill,
confusing
we
thing.
learn that Bill once possessed McGucket's brain and left because it was just too much for him. I believe that this left McGucket forever scarred, and also led him to find a way to completely shield himself from Bill, a way to never be seen by him in his all-seeing eye ever again. So, you cannot see him, he is blind. And, well, I believe that McGucket found one. If you notice on the sides of the grid, there are two numbers that are circled, column
20
12
and 12.
row 20. If you cross-reference these on the actual sheet,
35.
you'll notice that they line up with the number 35. And there's a space right before 35 that itself is circled and labeled weak point. And if this weak point is right before 35, I would presume that this has to be 34. Now, that could just be a coincidence, but this isn't the only time we've seen 34 in this ARG, nor is it the only time that it's said to be a blind spot for Bill. If you type
Really?
7 eyes
34?
into the website, it brings up a Polaroid portrait of a shadowy figure,
What the-
and if you squint, you can make out that this is Jesselbrom the Unswerving. This is the Oracle from Journal 3, and if our previous Book of Bill theory is correct,
nice
she's
guy.
also Bill's ex-lover and former henchmaniac that
Not
betrayed him.
Makes
Now,
sense.
that in and of itself is fascinating, that she'd be referenced again here in this ARG. But if you flip
There's
the
more.
Polaroid over, it reveals the message, leave him.
him.
Escape to
Escape the
Dimension
dimension.
Blank. It's against the rules, but it's the one reality where you may be safe from him. Clearly, she's
Maybe
talking
against
about
the
Bill here,
rules.
and the desire to find a reality that's shielded from him. Perhaps some sort of weak point, just like what's labeled on McGucket's page. If that's too much of a stretch for you,
Okay.
like, hey, that's fair. But it's not all. See, at the bottom of this flipped Polaroid, barely visible in the dark ink, you'll find another code. When you translate it, it reads, set chords for dimension reality. That's reality spelled with the number 34, like Leet speak. Also, it is not beyond me that Alex absolutely slipped a subtle R34 joke into a Disney project. Absolute king. Regardless, there's
that's
that
right
connection
there, but
again.
okay.
34, reality. A weak spot where Bill can't see, and the one reality where you may be safe from him. All of it lines up.
So,
Clearly,
the 34th
Dimension
Bill?
34, this reality, is a blind spot for Bill. Or maybe it's even more dangerous than that. Maybe it could be the end of the entire multiverse. See, if you type reality with the 34 into thisisnotawebsite.com, you're given a bunch of photographs of Bill's friends, the
found a new
henchmaniacs,
home.
explaining that they found a new home. We know from Gravity Falls Lost Legends, the first Gravity Falls comic, that the henchmaniacs survived Weirdmageddon, and this tells us that they've somehow escaped the Nightmare Realm and now they're living in Dimension 34. Bad news, right? Well, it could get even worse. Another interpretation of McGucket's note is that reality is not a weak point for Bill, but one for the entire fabric of space-time. This could explain why Jesse's message on the Polaroid says that going
It's
there
against
is
the
against
rules,
the
but the
rules.
one-
If it's a weak point for the entire multiverse, one wrong move could unravel everything. With that in mind, it's not a far leap to assume that
Fair.
maybe this reality is comprised of some sort of antimatter. If you don't know, antimatter is a real scientific concept.
Matter,
It's basically
antimatter.
like negative matter. For every atom of real material, there's an equal and opposite particle of antimatter, and should matter
law.
and antimatter ever come into contact, well, the results could be explosive. So, going to a dimension of antimatter, one that's a weak spot potentially for the whole multiverse, could be bad
Yeah.
news. Plus, in our last theory, we speculated that a series called Anti-Gravity Falls might be one of the ways the franchise moves forward, either as a prequel or a sequel. Perhaps some sort of Anti-Gravity Falls, as in the town, lies inside of this Dimension 34, and Dipper and Mabel and everyone else is gonna have to go there to defeat Bill. So, yeah, I feel pretty confident that
Maybe,
these things
but
are
we're not
related
sure.
to the
I don't
unsolved
think I've heard
puzzle that
anything.
Alex pointed out that started us down this rabbit hole. But to be honest, loyal theorists, it's not as clean as I would like it to be. It's not the slam dunk, open and shut case that makes me confidently say, we solved this. Which is why, friends,
Yeah, it makes
I need
sense.
your help. I feel like the solution to this mystery is right at the tip of our fingers, but we need more collective brain power to get us there. So again, please, I want to encourage you to go to the Gravity Falls subreddit and Discord to join in on this mystery hunt. hunt. A ton of talented theorists have already been working around the clock over there to solve the Book of Bill and thisisnotawebsite.com inside and out. And I want our community here to go and join in on that effort. Between all of us, I know we're going to be able to solve the connection between this page that Alex pointed out, and the wallpapers from the website, and McGucket's random note page, and this Polaroid with Jess O'Bram, and everything else in this book. And you best believe that I'll be keeping my eye out for any of the solutions that pop up. We will definitely be doing a follow-up video if and when we find a solution to it, so you better subscribe so you know when that comes out. Until then, I'll just be banging my head here against the keyboard trying to figure it out and get Bill out of my head. I think I accidentally made a deal with him. Regardless, remember that it's all just a theory. A film theory. And cut. Up next on Film Theory.
Yeah, honestly, this is gonna be tricky. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen much Gravity Falls. I'm not even sure we'll get a new series, but I'll have to wait and see. Who knows? Maybe we'll get an adult Maple Dipper. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See ya.